Hey, coffee lovers, Mark and John here at the Whole Latte Love live stream, our regular Friday 3 o'clock. I haven't been with you in a while.
Yeah, we haven't done one of these together in a while. I was looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a look at puck prep. We're going to take a look at pre-infusion too, right? Mm-hmm. And we're going to, what do we got here? You got over on your side, the Gaggia Classic.
Gaggia Classic E24. I've also got a Eureka Mignon Libra grind by weight grinder.
So we'll be pulling shots there, regular and with a pre-infusion technique over here.
And you're going to teach me
Yes.
how to pre-infuse with the Gaggia Classic. I'm not good at it yet. Mark knows how to do it. So we're going to learn together. That's going to be fun.
Awesome.
And then we've also got...
we have a little preview of Bezzera Luche. This one is a heat exchange machine, PID. I'm working on a video on it right now.
Yeah.
Really cool machine. Really a great milk machine with a high capacity. So 2-liter boiler, 4-liter water reservoir, not plumbable. So if you're not going to plumb a machine and you do milk drinks all the time, this is one you might want to look at. We'll do some pre-infusion over here, some long pre-infusion on a single origin, the Guatemala Way Tango.
Yep.
With that and pull regular shots. We'll talk about how extractions differ a little bit when you're doing some pre-infusion maybe.
Oh yeah, we've got a ton with pre-infusion to go through today. And not just that, but we're gonna get into some gadgets that we would use for puck prep and things like that. Like what do you have over here?
I got really good ball bearings on.
Look at this.
Yes.
Ron, can we get that overhead shot? Look at this again. What exactly is this, Mark?
It's a fidget spinner.
It's keeping me calm, yeah.
No, this is like a kind of like an auto WDT tool, Weiss distribution technique. So fluff up your grinds. I mean, I've got a really nice grinder. I like a grind by weight
of course,
over here,
yeah.
the Atom W65. So it does a really nice grind, not clumpy, but still, you can still WDT even if you're not, right? But if you do have it's really important if your grinder happens to be, a clumpier one.
Oh, sure, yeah, smaller burrs, those kind of grinders that can offer clumps here and there. Every now and then, if I'm going too fine on the Libra, I get some, so it's always good to do it if you ever see that, but I like to do it anyway, just because you never know what's beneath the surface there,
Yeah. And, I mean, I've got a full suite of Bezzera tools over here because we're using a Bezzera machine. So we've got their leveler right here. We'll talk more about that, adjustable depth. The tamper that comes with a Luche over here.
Oh,
so
nice.
A beveled edge tamper that works really nicely in their baskets. One thing I like about this machine, it comes with a larger basket right out of the box, a 20 gram, which is nice.
Not common in a lot of prosumer machines to come with such a,
14 to 18 maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
I think those 20-gram shots are in style right now anyway, so I'm glad that
especially with that sort of a coffee, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And then one thing, I've been talking about this guy for years. This is the Jack Leveler, which this is a thing that you can also prep your coffee without tamping at all with this.
Yeah.
In fact, we had it, I know for a long time, we had it out in our kitchen for the staff there. And because you can adjust the depth on this and you can compress the coffee enough. And that's something I want to bring up.
Yeah.
So if you went back 15 years and you were reading about making espresso, you always said like pull out a scale and
you know what the number was?
Pounds.
30, yeah.
30 pounds, right? And my take on it has always been you can only compress it so much.
And that's the entire goal with tamping anyway. It's so you really just have to make sure it's compressed. And I'm always telling people, just don't tamp too light because that's going to be the thing that's going to create tons of shot inconsistency. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're just tamping hard enough, just tamp hard every time, but just don't hurt yourself.
Yeah,
with this,
don't get the elbow going.
Exactly. And with this, it's going to get it compressed enough where you don't actually have to apply much force, and it completely compresses
and it's going to be consistent.
Yeah.
It's going to be very consistent. Well, I'll tell you what. So you want to do a little puck prep off the Libra here, and then we'll pull a normal shot over on the Gaggia Classic.
Yeah, we're gonna start it off nice and classic. No pun intended. We're just gonna pull regular shots. We'll get into some pre-infusion advanced techniques and things like that later.
Yeah.
Before we start, don't forget to
subscribe.
Yes, subscribe, and also
get in the comments.
Yeah.
And I see we got Andrew down there, Bogani.
Andrew.
Hey everyone, he's picked up an Evo Pro from us last month, so eager to learn how to all that and pull better shots. We'll show you how to do that. I mean, this is an E24, so if it was an Evo Pro, this one has the newer brass boiler in it, and the Evo Pro, if that's really what you have, does not. But what I'll show you here, you can do on the Evo Pro as well.
Oh yeah, exact same concept. In fact, Andrew, you're going to be, oh, Charlotte, thanks. Pun always intended if you're not a coward.
Yeah. So if we are looking down there,
Yeah.
we are looking at your comments because we can see them all here. So just so you know that part. Also, what I want to say, of course, subscribe to the channel. I know I had Ron's back there running the show, and I put out a new video yesterday. If you're newer to making espresso, it's got like the 10 things you got to try. It's kind of like a step-by-step 10 steps through making espresso. It makes it really easy. Get into adjusting your grind size and certain things you should do with your machine. So check that out. That link's down there in the comments, or just go to the channel.
Perfect.
Right? And we're here every Friday at 3. So
every Friday at 3. In fact, what do you think? You wanna make some espresso?
let's make some espresso.
I am 1 cup of coffee deep. I'm usually 4 by this point, so I'm ready. So here's what I have. I got the Eureka Mignon Libra, like I said. This is the Gaggia Classic E24. I've got our Crema Wave coffee. This is a really nice middle of the road blend, slightly on the darker side, not by too much.
Now, I noticed, because we got this is micro roasted locally, very fresh. I know this coffee's 5 days old.
Yeah.
Which is honestly maybe a little too new.
It's a little fresh, yeah.
A little fresh.
Now, I mean, I'm pretty lenient when it comes to my roast dates. I don't know if you are, but I think we see it kind of a similar way. I go up to like 90 days, and
as
still
long as you're
pulling
storing
shots.
it well.
Yeah. Yeah, now, the longer that you wait after the roast date, the more consistent the coffee gets. Right. Yeah.
We did a lot of testing in the past. This went back during COVID times where we did a lot of testing, really fresh coffees, and always found it's about 21 days where they stopped changing so much.
About 21 days.
About 21 days after the roast.
Now, you'll hear a lot of people say things like, after 2 weeks, it's over. Call it a day.
I don't think so at all.
Yeah, that's, to me, that's kind of old news. We're moving on from that. I go up to 90 days, like I said, but yeah, after like 21 days, I mean, if you've ever made a pour over, think of it this way. You're seeing the bloom happen as you're pouring your first bits of hot water.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to come over here to this overhead camera too. We'll do a little puck prep over here. This is my WDT tool right here from Vitamin. Super nice olive wood. And I've got this funnel that comes with the Libra.
Yeah, so you had that in there with the Libra, so
you bet.
You're not making a mess over there at all.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave it in. We're just going to do this. I want to break up any potential clumps.
I didn't really see any. Right?
I'm
really nice grind out of that.
I'm just in such a habit of doing it that I think it can only help and pretty much never hinder. So we got a really nice looking bed here. This is the Eureka leveler right here. So I've already got a pretty flat bed of coffee. I'm just gonna go a little further. And do
you have a certain number of spins you like?
I like 10.
You like 10?
I'm so glad you asked. Yeah, when I'm spinning the ice in my Negroni, it's 100, but just 10 for this. So now
let's talk about the technique here.
Yeah. Now Zach is always telling us, if you're a regular watcher here, hold it like a flashlight. Hold your tamper like a flashlight, right? I had someone the other day hold their flashlight like this, and I
you
get
hit
it.
the button, right?
Right, yeah, I get it. They weren't wrong,
Right.
Or like a doorknob is another way to think of it. So now here, I actually had someone, Ron, if you want to go to the front-facing camera, I had someone a long time ago when I was trying to learn how to tamp straight, say imagine that there is a stack of pennies on your elbow. And it's not a perfect analogy. I don't think anyone's ever done it perfectly. But if you want to really get straight, just imagine that there's a stack of pennies on your elbow.
They're starting to fall.
I can tell, yeah. I'm watching myself in the camera there. It's not exactly straight.
No.
Yeah, that way, just...
there you go.
That's more like it. That's a little overkill, but just kind of get you in the habit of what it's like to tamp straight. And why don't you critique my tamp as well? How we looking?
That's not bad.
Not too bad.
Not bad. I mean, you do want to look and take a look and make sure that you're not cockeyed in there or anything, or got anything strange going on. But that looks really nice.
Sure, nice. Well, let's go ahead and pull this one in that case.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you want to do the regular one? So so for Andrew here.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So the technique on this machine, the Evo Pro as well, if you want to get that 200-degree brew temperature, which is right around what we like for the Crema Wave. So it's going to be, I'm going to, just so we don't make a mess here,
Oh, sure.
I'm just going to grab the little, this is how I like to flush. So
Yeah.
you're just going to run that brew switch for about 7 seconds. I could see it was a little
Yeah, that was a
overheated.
little hot, yeah.
Been sitting, unused for a little bit. And then, so I don't know, I was just guesstimating there a little bit. And then we should see the light go off.
There it is, yep.
And then when the light comes back on, that's right when you want to pull your shot. And in my testing, I've seen it over and over. I'm going to do this over and over again. That was the Zach booth.
Yeah,
over
yeah.
and over again.
Over and over again, okay?
So there you go. You got your light.
Nice. And the light means it's at 200, which means we are ready to brew.
Yeah.
I'm going to start my timer at the same time as starting my
Share
shot.
your scale.
Whew! I almost...
Hit it. Oh, there it goes.
Oh, we got it.
You got it.
We got it
Okay.
just in the nick of time.
Okay. So you were timing from pump on there?
From pump on.
Okay.
Yep, exactly. And I do get people asking a lot about, when do you want me to start my timer? I start it right when the pump starts, not necessarily when the
Right.
first drops hit
And we
the
want
scale.
36.
Yeah, so I'm going to stop it right around there.
29 seconds?
Nice.
28?
Okay.
I saw, when you hit the switch, we were right around 28, I
Yeah,
think.
28, 29. Yeah, I do like 25 seconds for this
Yeah.
coffee in particular.
Yeah.
We're gonna live. It's gonna be okay. But I could go just a little bit coarser on that grinder, and we'll be right at 25. We're gonna drink this one anyway, so
Yeah.
I think it's still gonna be pretty tasty.
Oh, you know what I don't have?
What don't we have?
I always like to stir mine, so I got to have something to stir. But
Really?
you're going to drink that one, right?
Sure. You know what I do
You
if
wanna
I can't
split?
stir?
Okay, yeah. You do a
I do
little
this.
Dump,
Yep.
and redump.
You know,
Okay.
And sometimes I like that anyway because that sort of like breaks up the crema, in case it's giving me like giant islands of crema.
So what are we expecting here?
Here, okay, I want a little bit of sweetness. I
Yeah.
want a
It's
lot
very
of
fresh.
very fresh, yeah, which is
So-
maybe why it was a little inconsistent. Cheers. Huge body.
Yeah, it really does.
Big body. And I like that for this coffee,
Yeah.
especially, this is the kind of blend where you're going to be using like a lot of milk, lattes, cappuccinos, things like that. So
It is. I can really taste that it's a little too fresh, though. I really can.
I can too.
I drink a lot of the Crema Wave at about 2-3 weeks, and this is just a little. It's just a little bite at the end.
Yeah, you know what I heard someone call that when a coffee is too fresh and there's that all tons of CO2 coming out at it. To me, I think CO2 maybe even has a flavor. I had a friend say there's a lot of
Carbonic acid, I think it makes is.
it makes sense to
Yes.
me, but a friend was calling it interference. When a
Interference?
coffee is so fresh, like there's a lot of interference in this.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things that made him sound like he knows what he's talking about. But I adopted it. Now I say it a lot too. So.
Nice. So let's
Yum.
let's do another one. We'll do, and I'll
Cool.
show I'll do the little pre-infusion with this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Teach me.
That might, and I'm just curious about the puck here. Okay.
Yeah. You wanna take a look at it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's have a look, folks. It's a little messy. That's okay. We'll clean up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I see just a tiny little channel in there.
Yeah. You can see one little dot right there where
Yeah.
it might have found the path of least resistance and shot out to the bottom.
Now it's not the end of the world, right?
No.
But a little pre-infusion. We're going to show a little technique, and one reason. There's a couple reasons to pre-infuse, right?
Right.
One is to try and decrease on the channeling that can make up maybe for some deficits in your puck prep. Those are typically going to be a very short pre-infusion where you're just hitting the top of the coffee, just getting the top. You don't need to go all the way through.
Sure.
Then another reason to do pre-infusion is like with a really fresh higher end coffee, and we'll talk about that when we get over to the Luche over here, is to go all the way through the coffee before you get into the full extraction. So like
Saturate that entire puck.
saturate the entire puck, right?
Gotcha. And now that would be more for like those lighter roasted single origin kind of coffees, right?
You dig in, you really get at the coffee, but it's going to give it time to bloom and get rid of some of that CO2.
Oh, good point.
So,
Yeah. Now again, if you've ever made a pour over, you know what this is like. The first bits of hot water, you're going to see literally just, it almost looks like a bloom, like it's
Yeah.
just letting off all this gas.
like a bubble bath
Like
happens in there.
Yeah, that's kind of what it looks like, right? Now the same thing is happening on the inside of your portafilter, except under 9 bars of pressure. That's
Right.
9 times the atmospheric pressure, so a lot of pressure. So What that means is if coffee is too fresh, you can get a lot of inconsistencies just from all this gas just exploding on the inside of your portafilter. So that's where that pre-infusion can kind of help. All right, let's see. Let's do a little more puck prep.
Yep.
We'll be quick, and then Mark is going to show us how to pre-infuse with the Gotcha Classic. He's going to show me, actually. I have no idea how to do it yet. I like to give it just a little tamp, too, just get things settled, kind of get, or tap, really.
You're a very clean prepper.
Oh, thank you very much. In those barista competitions or dog shows, as I sometimes call them, which I'm a fan of, you know. Sometimes I see that they take points off for every little gram or drop of coffee that's left around the counter. So, you know, when you're clean, you get more points. How about that? There we go. Give it a teeny tiny
Let's
twist.
see. Here we go. Oh, try harder now. Hello, try harder now. Some coffees you can tamp too hard. Interesting coming from try harder.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I like how that worked out.
I know, me
All
too.
right. Oh, so here, let me give you this.
Okay.
I'll do my thing here. I'm going 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
4,
And I mean, it's only a 3.5 fluid ounce boiler. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't take much to totally flush that thing out.
But on the E24 here, that is the new brass boiler, which, you know, it's got a much higher thermal mass than the aluminum one. So we'll see, and should be popping off here soon.
Oh, I think it did. I think it already went back on.
Oh, it did it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
might
believe
have
so.
missed it.
You know, we could try again just to be safe. Let's
Just
see
to be
if
safe.
I.
Oh, puck's fine.
Yep, puck is fine actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
No wet
like
spots
you
or
don't want
anything.
to do that. You don't want to.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, you know, smash your puck. You got too much coffee if you do.
right. Yeah, no, there's
Okay, there
not
we
even
go.
a dent here. Otherwise, I would have done us again. All right, now we're talking. But you're right. This thing does heat up way, way, way
Yeah.
quicker than you think. So it only takes like a few seconds here. All right. I'll tell you what. Why don't I use this guy
Yeah.
right here?
Okay, so we're good to go. So what I'm going to do for the pre-infusion here is open the steam valve a quarter turn and hit the brew switch. I'm just going to let that run for about 3-4 seconds and then close it, and then we're going to go back to full pressure. So that's going to get the top of the coffee wet. And we'll see now, in theory, now if you do a really long pre-infusion, you expect the shot to run faster.
Yeah. Yep.
And we're shooting for 36, and this one is coming a little faster. Now, we did have the coffee in there a little bit longer, maybe. So we went from 28 to 23-ish
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, and I think I missed a couple of seconds before I hit the
Okay.
hit the timer as well.
Okay, so we're pretty close?
yeah, we're going
Okay.
with about like 28 seconds or so
Okay.
on this one.
Because we didn't like saturate the puck, so it's not really going to change the extraction time too much.
Right, right. You know, we were a little faster.
When
We got
I-
30 seconds last time, 28 this time. Not a crazy
Can I do the
difference.
pour back and forth?
Yeah,
here for you?
yeah, let's do it.
All right, we'll give this a try.
Nice.
See if we get any difference in that.
All right, nothing
I'm
like
not expecting much.
nothing like a 3:15 p.m. espresso, you know?
I mean,
No.
it's really similar, honestly.
Pretty similar.
Yeah.
Maybe a
Maybe a hairless bite at the end.
yeah, a hair less interference, if you will.
Interference, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit more zippy, maybe a hint of more acidity, not by too much. But at the same time, I think it does taste fuller, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit more chocolatey and cocoa nuts, which is kind of what I want out of this coffee anyway. So
Now let's take a look at the puck.
yeah,
I'm curious to
let's
see
check
if
this out. Now,
and if there are channels, I'm going to fault your prep.
you would be correct to do that. Let's have a look.
So yeah, I don't see really any holes in there at all.
No, me neither. As I do this more and more, it's becoming easier to find actual channels and things like that. But here, I just see maybe a little bit of attachment to the screen from when
Yeah.
I pulled it out, which I'm sure after I purged the group head, that just fell right out. But this is looking really nice.
Yeah,
That's a pretty consistent puck.
pretty consistent.
Not bad.
Yeah.
So what was happening when you did that?
Oh,
pre-infusion?
so what we did, so in that boiler, right, we open up the steam valve, and we're letting some of the water or pressure come out of there. And actually, you know, we have measured that, so it's about half the flow rate is what you get when you do that, if you just open it a quarter turn. Now you could go even further with that if you want to do a longer pre-infusion. The thing you have to be aware of is that you're letting out so much water, and it is a relatively small boiler, that you might be bringing the brew temperatures down.
Right, because you're replacing it with water, room temperature water from the reservoir, right?
But another thing to keep in mind is that that brass boiler does have a lot of thermal mass. So the cooling, I mean, I really need to go in there and just do some tests and see how that affects temperature.
Oh, sure.
A little bit. My guess is it's not going to be too much. And my other guess is that maybe, you know, when that light comes back on, you wait just a little bit longer.
Oh, to get a little extra.
To keep the temperature up a little bit.
Yeah, and that checks out to me too.
Yeah.
But this, I mean, it sounds like there's plenty of room for experimentation with that method alone right there, right?
Yeah. And if you're doing one of those really long ones, you'd end up like, you know, you can see we didn't end up with much water coming off of there.
Sure.
But you are putting out hot water, so if you're going to go do an Americano or a long black, there's your water.
Yeah, absolutely.
for that already.
Do you want to try a really long one just to kind of see what happens?
I think we should.
I don't know what I'm expecting. You know, maybe nothing. I'm just let's play. Let's have some fun. You know, we got time.
I think we should.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. I'll do a little puck prep here again.
And can we use my old buddy, the Jack?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're okay with that? Okay.
Yeah, and you can kind of show us how that works too while we're at it.
So
Now,
yeah, while you're grinding, I mean the Jack again. I think I first used this maybe 7-8 years ago.
Yeah.
It's adjustable depth, so you can change the depth here. I'll show you in this shot here. If you look at that, so you just screw it and it kind of goes in. So depending on how much coffee is in there.
Sure.
Now, I haven't preset this at all for this, so I'm just going to make a kind of a guess here. We'll see where we get.
Yeah, you could just set it pretty deep, knowing that you're kind of doing a faux tamp, and it should be okay. Yeah. All right, here we go.
I will let you do the.
I am doing this. I'm
Okay.
going to skip my Eureka leveler here. All right, let's do a little bit of that. I think I did have this a little fine for this coffee. I just saw like one little
tiny.
Yeah, one little pocket of clumps there.
Okay.
Here we go. That nice tap there. And man, I'm a pretty clean barista. I'll tell you what, brother.
You want to do the honors?
I think.
Okay.
I think you show us how this one's done. Yeah.
All right. So this one's really easy. I mean, there's no tamp. No, I don't have to balance pennies after.
No.
And let's see.
And I'm watching just how much clearance you have from the base of.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, I was all the way down in this. This is 18 grams, and we're using the 18-gram Nanotech Barista Pro basket, so
That's
it's
right.
not the stock basket.
That's right. Yeah.
And you know, it
looks.
Check me.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty. It's pretty dense, man.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what I like. You know the little demo I like to do, where you're going to have to grind again. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm going to do a little demo here. I'm going to make a little bit of a mess here.
Okay.
Well, maybe not. We'll find out. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to knock out and see if we get like kind of a puck.
Cool.
And
Boom.
so it comes out, and you know it's pretty compressed. I mean, I'm just going to.
Yeah. Give it some wiggle.
You know.
It's pretty compressed, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is almost like a brownie or a chocolate torte.
So there's these tools, and look, don't get me wrong. I love using the tools. Right, it's fun. There's kind of an MSR thing sometimes with them, you know.
Oh, big time, yeah. It's
you know, you're making
Instagrammable,
noise,
you know.
Making the knocks and all that. But if you really want it easier, or maybe if your joints aren't so great, you know, and you don't want to be pushing on things, it's an option.
Not a bad idea.
So, all right, John.
I mean, from what I just saw, it looks pretty darn
Yeah.
consistent too. So
Give us a little cleanup here.
Oh, I suppose. Why not? All right. Let me do this. I'll tell you what, folks. I got one more. One of the things that we wanted to cover today was also just kind of tips, tricks, things like that. If you've got your portafilter not in the group head for a little while, it's losing heat, and pretty quickly too. So we were just out here for what, 3 minutes or so, 2 minutes?
Yeah.
That's long enough to lose some heat. I would just go ahead and stick it right back in the group head. I even like to run a little water through it just to make sure you really get it hot enough. So there we go. Maybe a little wet, maybe a little bit of a mess, but you know, at least our thermal, what's the word I'm looking for?
Or consistent thermally. How about that?
My thermal integrity is, we were talking about phrases that we say all the time.
Yeah.
That's going to be my new one right there.
Thermal integrity.
Oh yeah, you've compromised your thermal integrity, John. All right, here we go.
You know, I do love a weight-based grinder.
I do too. You know, and It's a newer technology as well.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when I was in cafes for like 15 years. I remember when the first weight-based grinders came out very recently. It changed my entire workflow on the bar.
I mean, I remember the Bezzera 270 WI when that first came out, and that was like 8-9 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's not the build quality of this sort of a grinder or burr quality, but
I mean, they kicked
really
off
cool.
They kicked off the idea as
Yeah,
well. You
yeah.
know. Here we are.
Oh, am I going to jack it again?
You know what? Why don't I do it?
Okay.
Now that I've kind of got the idea, do you have like a
Okay.
certain number of times that you?
Whatever feels right.
Yeah. Should I do 100, kind of like I do when I
No.
stir my drinks? No, not 100. This is starting to feel right. Let me check my clearance. I think I can bring it
all
down.
the way down?
No, I can bring it down a
Okay.
little further. That just kind of shows me there is some real compression here.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It looks beautifully flat and perfect.
Well, dang.
And the one thing I also noticed, when you get a tamper, you want to make sure it's a good fit in your basket, because every once in a while you run into a tamper that kind of doesn't really, it's a little too sloppy in there.
Oh, yeah.
But what I
yeah.
really notice here is just nothing around the edges at all.
No, it's
know?
perfect. Yeah, I see that a lot. I'm okay with some variants, a little bit of stuff on the outside.
Now, one thing I do know with these is my habit always after I use them, I can see there is a little coffee stuck around here. And I like touching coffee, so I'm just doing that before I use them sometimes. But that looks great. Okay,
Clean your stuff. Yeah, we shall.
Okay, so we're gonna go for a much longer one. I'm just gonna get this water out here, see how much water we end up with.
All right, nice. And I'll tell you what, I'm gonna steal this so we can purge some water out of here as well.
Since we've been sitting, give it like 8, 9. Yeah, see, that's nice and warm there.
3, 4, 5, like
Go 9.
7, 8, 9. All right, cool. So that should get us lots of room. So we got a lot of fresh water in there now, right?
Yep, there we go.
All right, beautiful.
All right.
All right, the master is going to teach the student. Let's see what we got
let's
here.
get the.
You know what? I've got one of these.
Okay,
This will work.
You can use a shot glass.
Yeah.
Pitcher.
And let me get you perfectly lined up.
Okay.
And let me get my timer going. Perfect. Okay.
You ready to go? Okay, so I'm gonna go at like a half turn here,
Okay.
and maybe out to 3/4. You see, we're really pumping out a lot of water.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring that down to like a half now. We've been going about, 10, 11, 12. Okay, now I'm gonna close her up.
Cool. So we did a solid like 12, 13
Yeah.
second pre-infusion. So this is a pretty darn saturated puck by this point.
Yeah. Now, I would expect that this one is going to be not quite as bright.
Sure. Yeah.
Even though it's not really that sort of coffee that goes super bright.
Yeah,
like
but still.
some other ones.
We might get a lot of depth out of it just on the sheer notion that there's more saturation going on.
So 40. So that was honestly about the same timing if you minus the pre-infusion time.
Oh, sure. Yeah. We're
that
still
shot.
around like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Except we had an extra 13 seconds.
Yeah.
Of what am I looking for? Saturation.
So we got to taste that
Nice.
one. Oh, there's
yeah.
another over there.
Yeah. Let's
Because
do
I
it.
need more espresso, right?
I do too. I don't have anything to stir it with. I like to stir it
do
as
the
well.
pour.
Yeah, do the back and forth.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
I like it a little
bit of
cooler
this.
anyway, so you can really taste the flavor a little better.
Same
cooled
here. Same here. And I'm even gonna just
down. Oh, you're going to.
let's
all
do it,
clean.
man. Let's be clean. Let's just. Yeah, looks good to me.
All right.
Here we go.
Cheers. Let's
Cheers,
see.
sir. Let's party. Wow.
Yeah.
I got a way more sweetness. I was just doing
But
that
no-
for fun.
Yeah. But no. I mean, there's a little bit of lemon at the end for me. Mm-hmm. But none of the super. Because I got a little bite off the end before.
No, same here. This is finishing with more of like a Three Musketeers kind of like
Yeah.
nougat type of thing for me.
It's not bad. I think that worked with that really fast.
Yeah, I was just trying to have some fun and just see
Yeah.
what happens, but I actually really like this. Okay, take that one home in that
All right.
case too. Speaking of which, what do we got here? Mohammed's got a preloaded tamper to get the same tamp on every shot. You know I love that.
Go.
Yeah. What else?
That'll save your arms. You guys are my heroes. Try harder enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Static flavored coffee, Charlotte. What are you talking about?
I'll tell you what, Charlotte's always cracking me up in the chat, though.
Yeah,
if she's not,
I think I've seen her in there a couple times.
If she's not in here, I get disappointed.
And let's see, Andrew, what tool will help me the most at first? Should I prioritize a good tamper or get a leveler?
If you're buying a Gotcha Classic, get a good tamper. The one that it comes with, I'm not crazy about.
Yeah.
Let's be honest with you.
Honestly, it's there for an emergency, right?
Yeah.
Or if you're maybe using a pressurized filter basket in the Classic.
Right.
Just to level out your coffee.
Yeah. In which case,
it's not a serious tamper.
Totally. Yeah. Agreed. Otherwise, Andrew, I mean, most prosumer machines and things like that are going to come with a pretty quality tamper. Even that little, the super thin flat base tamper.
Yeah. So long as you're pushing right. I mean, some make it easier than others. I know this, Eureka One, for instance, has kind of the little carvings on the side, so you can kind of, look at your, see, you can kind of gauge the level just by looking at the side after you've done it, by just leaving it sit in there.
Yeah, and I'm a fan of this one myself as well.
Yeah.
It's got a really nice silicone grip.
And it's got the easy flashlight move.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. The flashlight switch is actually right there on it. Well, cool. Right. That was fun. I'm actually
that was really interesting.
I'm actually going to use that.
You're going to try that with that?
Yeah. That was. I usually don't have the aha moments live, but I just had one, so this is great.
Now I'd be curious because I got to pull out a bag that's a little older and see what happens if I do that.
Oh, that's true. This is incredibly fresh coffee. Yeah. It turned out it was like 4 days off roast, which for espresso, by the way, that's very, very fresh.
Very, very fresh.
Yeah.
Too fresh in some respects, maybe.
I think so, but I mean that really helped get rid of some of that gas and just clean things up a little bit. Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go over to the Luche.
The Luche, Bezzera Luche. This is sort of a sneak preview, if you will, for this machine. So you guys are kind of getting this first. So welcome to the club.
It is a PID, heat exchange boiler machine. I like that the gauges are up high. Both the PID control and the gauges here. A lot of times those gauges will be down here, or the PID control will be down here.
I'm doing all that. Yeah, exactly.
Which, I get to look at myself in the...
Which is a lovely sight as well, but,
and so we're doing the Guatemala Huehue Tenango.
Oh, yeah.
And this was about a month.
Okay.
About a month old. So it's probably, it's probably in really prime condition, right?
For espresso, totally comfortable with that. Absolutely.
We're going to grind. We did dial in the grinder for a normal shot without pre-infusion prior to coming. Again, the Luche comes with a 20-gram basket stock.
So you're using the stock basket today.
Using the stock basket in here. We were using an aftermarket basket over here.
Yep.
And I do love this grinder because weight-based, just stick it in, let it do its thing. Wonderful.
Boom. Now I'm excited to see some of the Bezzera accessories that you have over here too. You have kind of the whole Bezzera suite
I do
here.
have the whole suite here. I figured, if we're going, we might as well go all the way.
Yeah.
So again, this WDT tool, which is kind of automatic and has, like we said, great ball bearings.
Yeah.
Was a joke made by Ferrari, maybe? No.
Right. It's your fidget spinner.
So I could just do this, and I could maybe get 100.
Let it go all day. Yeah, you're hired for my bar in that case.
So this is interesting when it does it because we kind of get a look like that if you can see it.
Mm-hmm. And with how fast that spins, I get a lot of centrifugal force, so some stuff can go to the outside.
So I'm also going to use their adjustable depth leveler here. Mm-hmm. Let's see how we do. I'm going to give it 4.
4?
5?
Not 10?
I wasn't counting.
Not 100.
Oh, and one thing I like, now you're using a tamp station over here, right?
Yeah, I was using, I've got it out, and I really like it. This little spot right here, this will fit your forks just fine. It's really great. I also like using the on edge tamper mats as well.
So I have a Bezzera tamp station over here. This is kind of cool because you can put your, and this is a tamper that comes with that machine. You can put it like right in your back flush disc, which also comes with a machine. So it kind of meant to be there. So when you go to clean your machine, all your stuff is there. Now you can also do the tamp here, right? Kind of like you were doing over here. But one thing I like about this portafilter is when you just lay it on a table, it sits nice and flat. So you don't necessarily have to do that.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, it might be just the hair off a parallel there.
Barely, but I would still feel plenty comfortable tamping like that.
And I do have a tamp mat here, so I'm going to be a good boy and put it on there. Well, I just go right on the table because
you know, I've done it, man.
Yeah,
all good.
So we'll just give it a tamp. I'm going to try and balance the pennies.
Balance the pennies. You're already doing a way better job than I was. I had this, you know, sideways bevel thing going.
And I'm not going crazy with pushing down on there.
Don't need to.
And like I also like to do the barista blow.
Nice. Yeah. Have you seen the flip it upside down, you know, to get it out? Yeah. Oh, it scares me.
That would scare me too.
Yeah, that was common at one point. Someone once told me, like, you could do that. All you're going to do is just drop your puck. Don't even bother. Yeah. So, but it looks cool when you can do it.
Sure.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, I'm gonna borrow. Did you end up with my picture? Because this is a heat exchange machine. It's been sitting here unused for quite a while.
I do have your picture.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You know, when you turn on a heat exchange machine, even a PID one, they usually hit that time. It's usually somewhere in that 20 to 25 minutes where they're perfect, and you just give them a short little flush. Since this one has been sitting here, we've been on for 36 minutes, and I think we didn't use it for 20 before. It's been sitting here for an hour.
Yeah.
So you want to flush these guys.
Yeah. Now, how much would you flush a heat exchanger machine?
One, so I'm looking for, and I'm seeing, overheated water right now, the bubbling and stuff underneath here.
That's like a boiling kind of
that's a flash boil. So I'm going to wait until that flow smooths out.
Oh.
And then I'm going to give it about another 5 seconds.
Okay, cool.
Right about there. I also like this because it has a really large drip tray. Again, I don't like making a mess, so I do use something like this. I got one of these hanging around usually.
Good idea.
All right, so we do have the flow control on here.
Yes.
We'll talk more about that. Now, I have it set so it's going to provide the stock flow rate, like the flow control wasn't there.
Okay, perfect.
So we can do that. And hopefully our dial-in stays. We had it pretty well dialed in before.
Yeah. Mark and I spent a little time dialing in before we started, and I think we were pretty okay, if I do say so myself. But I'm excited to drink this coffee. I don't have a chance to get into this Guatemala as often as I want to. So.
Do I have? No. I'm just going to use this larger cup.
Yeah.
That's what we got here.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So we'll see.
I have shot glasses if you want.
Just tear that out. Okay.
And now, you do get a timer.
Yes, we do get a timer here.
Ooh. I was telling someone the other day what I want to see is mouse tails.
Yeah.
Coming out of the machine.
And I'm looking for 40. If I saw this was going too fast, I could bring down the flow here. Whoop, I'd let it go. I was close to the timer. But we ended up at 24 seconds.
Okay, yeah.
So
that was about...
you want a taste of this?
Sure, yeah. I even have some extra cups and things like that around. Well, I got one of these guys.
Okay. I'm just going to pour back and forth.
Sure.
I'm not going to use a totally new one.
Cooler down a little bit?
Yeah.
All right, I've been looking forward to this exact moment right here.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
So this is no pre-infusion, no nothing.
All right.
I mean, that's a totally different coffee.
Massively different, yeah. Really high acidity on this one. Mm-hmm. Remember earlier I was saying just smelling that bag, and Ron, I don't know if you got a chance to smell it behind the boards there too. I was smelling it going, this is like a flat Coca-Cola, kind of a vanilla, lemon lime type of thing. And a lot of that's coming through in the cup too, so I'm kind of interested in what we can do with this.
Yeah. Well, let me clean this out and let's see.
All right, I'm just lining up all my dead soldiers right here, all my espressos.
Look at the puck, everything, looks fine, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a tiny, tiny, tiny little hole there. That's not something I would ever worry about.
No, one tiny little thing I'm not really that worried about, because it looks like the rest of the puck is plenty saturated. That's the big thing. So okay. Pretty acidic. What was that, like 43 in like 23 seconds, something like that? So we could, what do you think the move is from here?
So here, what I'm going to do is I want to do one where we kind of do what we did last over here. I'm going to take it at a really low flow rate until we see a drip.
Cool.
And then bring it up.
Nice.
So let me get that grind in here.
I'm going to make some predictions while we're grinding.
Okay.
I think, only because I've run into this before, I think that it's going to run even faster once we go into the into full flow rate, right?
I totally agree.
Okay, great.
So you know what I'm going to do if that happens? Because I have the flow control, I can then bring the flow rate down.
Oh.
Because we're going to do that low flow until we see drip, and then I'm going to go full and see what happens. And I'll bet you it's going to be too fast, and then we can bring it down.
Okay.
So we'll go from there.
Well, this sounds fun. I'm also just excited to keep using that that exact tool right there. Yeah, it's just way too fun. There we go.
It does whip it up.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's going to get rid of any clumps or anything like that you've got going there.
And it is cool because you can adjust the depth of the needles here.
Oh, I didn't.
And it's got the little cleaner thing. So in the bottom of the deal here are these little brushes.
Cool. So you just put that on there,
Yeah.
give it a spin, cleans it right off. Nice, not bad.
Oh, let me get my I like a little polish too at the end.
In no way will I make you balance the pennies.
Okay. Yeah, my barista blow. Okay.
The double B. All right. Now, as far as the cooling flush, what would you do when the machine's not sitting for like 36 minutes like it was before? Just a couple second flush and you should be good to go?
Just enough to, make sure you can do it after you do the shot, just to make sure your screen's clean.
Sure.
That kind of thing, you're not leaving gunk up in there. So I most always do just a little right before I pull. Oh,
we've got
I got the flow. I was presetting that. I have the flow control closed. So let me do that one more time. Yeah.
You always do some kind of a cooling flush before you brew, no matter what. In some regard.
Just a little. And I wouldn't really call that a cooling flush. It's more of a cleaning and equalizing flush, if you will.
Cool. Yeah.
All right. So what I'm going to do with this, we're going to go really low flow rate.
Okay.
Which for me is going to be about hitting the lever there. About a 1/16 of a turn on this. So barely anything, right?
Okay.
Which is going to get us about, I wrote it down because I measured it early. That's going to be, right around 3 grams per second of flow compared to like about 7 grams per second of a normal flow.
The 7 grams a second is
like
pretty much
stock.
the stock flow rate?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Interesting.
Right, so here we go. So I'm going to kind of see what, how long it takes to get first drip. I'm going to watch kind of the pressure gauge on the flow control here because we're not even up to pressure in that port here. It's starting to come up a little bit.
There we go. Now we got
about
drips.
11 seconds. So now I'm going to take it full. At 11. So I want to see 35ish. So it's going. So I'm going to bring it back down.
Ooh, baby.
And we went way over. So I'm not paying attention.
So that was about.
But it did exactly what we thought it was going to do.
Yeah, I mean that last shot was about 23 seconds. This one was about 11 seconds of pre-infusion, but only.
And then the rest was popped right out of it.
Which was like 15 seconds of full.
Which is a really good lesson here in that if you're going to do those long low flows like that, you are going to be able to grind finer, or you're going to want to grind finer.
Oh, for sure. Now, why would that be in layman's terms here?
Well, you kind of brought it up a little bit earlier. It's like, if the coffee's hotter, the water finds a way through. So if it's been sitting there with that water just kind of soaking through it for a little bit, it's already found its way through the coffee. It's just like we were talking before we came on, like, in a shop, if you're grinding, and the grind's getting hotter and hotter and hotter because the grind's getting hotter and hotter and hotter, the shots are going to speed up over the day, right?
Oh yeah, which makes sense to me. Yeah.
Same thing if you were to prep your portafilter and it's really hot and you just let it sit there for 4 or 5 minutes before you actually pull a shot, it's going to pull much, much faster.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's always, kind of grind, get it in there and do your thing.
In 2 seconds, yeah.
Now we do say I'm gonna take one for the team. And I'm gonna taste this.
I'm gonna taste it too. I'm in.
Oh,
I'm in.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I've got extra
gotta
cups
taste everything.
over here still.
Well,
so.
I'll let you do the pour.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna do a little back and forth.
Yeah.
And then I'll split it back up again.
Sure.
And you know, I like to do that anyway because it kind of cools it down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can taste it better that way. So here we go. This one's yours.
Okay.
This one's mine.
Cheers.
Let's see what happens. That one is way... Actually has more clarity. It's still
It did.
really...
I mean, I was gonna call it maybe like thinner almost.
It is, yeah. The acidity is still super
Yeah.
high, but I think there's just way more clarity on this one though. Like that lemon note is very obvious.
That's right
You
there.
know?
Yeah. Lived up to the lemon zest on the bag.
Yeah, yeah. That's actually so good though.
Yeah, I mean that's why you taste it, because you may find, right? Like I did not think that, I didn't like the time on that.
No,
I
me
didn't
neither.
like that we went, I mean we're only over by like what, 5 grams.
Not a big deal at that
so
point.
not
yeah.
a big deal, but
It's not like we were going for 40 grams and we ended
Yeah.
up with like 52 grams or something. You know.
So let's do this. Shall we try grinding a little finer?
This is the part that I'm most excited
Okay.
about. Yeah.
Puck looks good.
Puck looks good. I'm not surprised because I mean, that was a heck of a pre-infusion.
Yeah.
So it really had a chance to mitigate channeling.
So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna grind a little finer. So I'm gonna set this over to manual mode for right now.
Okay.
Because as we adjust finer, we want to be grinding some coffee off and then grind a little bit more, so all of our grinds the same size.
You want to get rid of all that extra coffee in the
Yeah.
chute, right?
And also, when you adjust finer, you don't want to crush beans between burrs, which would cause a stop. And this is a relatively dense bean, right? So
This is
it's going to be more of a challenge for some grinders.
This is a super hard bean. Kind of a light roast too, so
Yeah.
even harder in that regard too.
So I'm not going to go much. Okay, and that's what we're going to dump. I didn't go too far.
Okay.
It may not be far enough. I guess we'll find out.
We'll find out. And then once we get dialed in here, I have even more gadgets, tools,
Oh, that's
and
right.
tricks
Yeah,
to
we
show.
better hurry up here.
Oh, we got time. I'm not worried. But you know what? Monkeys with matches. First of all, that's a great username. For me, the ribbed tampers just make a mess. Coffee gets caught in the ribs. Are they really better? Not necessarily. I do. I'll echo what Mark said. These little ribs right there, they can just kind of help you see or measure a little bit better just how deep your tamper is actually getting in the basket. That to me is really the only advantage that I see. Some people say that it helps with like anti-suction, helping when you pull the tamper out to not dislodge the puck from the walls of the basket or anything like that. I don't think this necessarily does as good of a job with that as tampers. They have that kind of like taper in the base. So I really just use it to see exactly how deep it got. Otherwise, yeah, I might not disagree. Sometimes, coffee can get in those ribs. I still like it. Yeah.
So I'm going to go crazy. I go back to my old friend Jack here.
Yeah. Hey, Jack.
And give it a spin.
Nice. Go back, Jack.
Yeah,
Do it again.
Looks great. Okay.
Beautiful.
Just a little flush.
And you know what? I want to do something real quick while we're here.
Sure.
Ron, hit me with that camera over the espresso machine here. I want to show something real quick. I don't know if y'all can see from right here. The water's coming down in kind of a line, right? Instead of in like a shower. Watch this. All right, yeah, we got that little line right there. I want to get that more like a shower so it's going all over the coffee bed. Just a little bit of that. Boom, we got a shower going.
That's a winner.
All
huh?
right, let's go. We're talking tips and tricks today.
You got it, buddy.
Take that one to the bank.
All right, so we're going to go long again on that pre-infusion.
Okay.
I might even go a little less. Let's see, get a cup here. So, tear that.
And you've
Just
got
a
that
little.
open, what was it, like a...
Like a 16th maybe.
Yeah. All right.
And I don't know, if this is a first shot with a new grind size here. We'll see. It came out about 11 last time, right?
Yes, 11. Yeah, so
Oh,
we're at
and
about 11.
So I'm going to bring it up. I'm not going to go quite so far this time. I'm going to bring it like
You want to
about
kind of
a
control
quarter
that
turn.
flow real
Yeah.
good. Nice.
We're at 30 grams,
All right.
35, 37. Okay.
Yeah, at 29 total seconds. I think that was some pretty good use of the flow control.
Yeah. I
knob
mean,
right
that's
there.
a cool thing with the flow control is you could potentially save a shot if you think that's what you want to do by bringing the flow rate down so you're not blasting water through the coffee quite so fast.
Oh, totally. And you know, flow control is not pressure profiling. I do get
Yeah.
that question sometimes.
Yeah.
Pressure profiling has to do with where the pump is set. So if you have like a pressure profiling knob or something like that on a machine, what you're actually doing is changing pressure at the pump. So, and you'll see that on your pressure gauge. The flow control doesn't change the pressure, only the flow rate, so there might still be pressure built up that's not getting relieved. But you can still manipulate pressure going in. You can slow down flow even though the pressure is high. You can still do a lot of things with the flow control.
And I mean, you could bring the pressure down by really, I mean, you do have a pressure gauge right up here as part of the flow control, so you could kind of look at that and use that as some cues to do things.
And I do sometimes too. Yeah.
Do we have another? Will you do the honors?
We're getting down to my last one. Here we go. This is not easy, by the way. This is
Yeah.
you know, I got to mop the floor after this. There we go.
Sir?
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. Well, you got. How did you end up? Oh, okay.
I think you cleaned one.
No, here's my other one.
Okay, there we go.
Oh, and here's two. Oh wait. Oh no, these were mixers.
Those were, yeah,
So
that's
we didn't
right.
actually drink those.
That's
Okay.
right. All right, these are all my soldiers lined up here. It's actually way deeper.
Yeah. And a little not as bitey, not as acidic to me at all.
No, agreed.
I mean, I think that helped. It's got a little more in the middle.
I mean, there's still plenty of acidity, but this
Yeah.
is known to be a high acidity
Yeah.
coffee, so I'm not
Yeah.
worried about that. A lot more in the middle, like there's like a caramely kind of a dessert note that I'm having a difficult time putting my finger on, almost like a custard. Ron, I didn't even ask if you want anything. We'll get you some, I promise. You know what I want to do is I want to grind like absurdly finer,
Yeah.
significantly finer, and I want to
You wanna
show.
throw one of these there.
Yeah, I want to show a couple of tricks I have over here. Ron, while we're doing that, why don't you hit me with the overhead camera? I want to show off some of this stuff right here while I kind of clean up
I'm gonna
my.
make just a little bit of noise back here.
Yeah. You can be noisy. I can handle it. I've used the flow control only to slow down a shot when the grind is too coarse. Otherwise, I don't use it. You could totally do that, Michael. I like to use it as kind of like that faux pre-infusion. Sorry, Ron. That like faux pre-infusion where I'm, waiting for the pressure to go up, and then I'll go into the full flow. You can do both, or just one or the other. With dark roast, I actually really like to start with full flow, and then maybe halfway through the shot start easing back on the flow. Yeah, I mean the possibilities are limitless, but yeah, you're right. You could totally use it like that too. So.
I mean that's a trick with it. A dark roast or an older coffee is to hit it hard and then bring it way back.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of the opposite of what we're doing.
Right, literally. Yeah. The idea being just not blasting it with so much water because dark roasts are so soluble. You guys have heard me say that all the time about dark roasts. They're so soluble. It just doesn't take much energy to get everything out that they have to offer, right? So if you can ease back near the end, that can help avoid over-extraction and kind of make sure that you don't go into that ashtray territory and keep just the deep, sweet stuff. But
All right, that's absurdly fine.
That's absurdly fine. Okay.
I got some boulders happening.
Whoa! Oh my goodness. We're now absurdly fine. Let's party with it. I want to just pre-infuse like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then just kind of see what happens.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll wait until we get the first drop. Man, shall we party?
Let's WDT that. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that 20 grams?
According to my grinder, it was.
Wow, and that shows me how fine it is. There's a ton of extra space in there.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I'm a little scared.
I am too, but like,
Oh, look, it's fluffing right up.
we're just playing.
Yeah.
We're doing things, man. Let's do that ASO coffee jack
You want
for
to
this one as well. Yeah.
You know what?
Kind of do.
Okay.
What do you think?
We'll find out.
You're skeptical. You're from the land of skepticalia here. You like that one, Ron?
All right. I'm something. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we got a little give. All right.
You know what? I kind of want to tamp it still.
Yeah.
We're just so it's leveled out because you can use that this way as too, just as a leveler. So.
Oh sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna use a Eureka though.
Nice.
I'm gonna get my flashlight in there. It does look light to me though, huh?
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh man, this is gonna be this is actually honestly this is gonna be kind of wacky, but this is kind of what I live
That
for.
looks really light.
From a roast perspective.
No. Oh, from a dose perspective.
Oh sure.
I'm not sure I'm believing that, but.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
The same here. We're gonna find out. Another flush.
Okay. So we're gonna go. Let's see.
Oh, I am now out of cups. Let me do this real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I got one.
You got one?
Yeah. Here, I got two.
You're a well prepared man.
I got two.
All right.
All right, so we're gonna go really. Oh, you know what? We're gonna have to go into one. Sorry.
That's fine. We're big boys. We can handle it.
Okay. We're gonna go really low. I mean, like really low.
All right. I'm interested
Okay.
in how long this takes to get
If
any.
it does.
Yeah. if it even does. Yeah.
If it comes at 11, I'm gonna like be unhappy.
Yeah, same, but let's see, man. All right, we're getting pressure now.
Yep.
Just a bit. It's still building. All right, now we're getting to just about full
Hey,
pressure.
Hey. Okay, I'm gonna bring it up.
Sure.
We're gonna go all the way.
And we've only still got one side going here. When I said wacky,
Oh, there we go. Yeah, we got really wacky.
Yeah, when I said wacky, I meant wacky. Before we go, I've got one more trick for you. So if this doesn't work out, I got your back, okay?
How do you feel about a 1.5 minute shot?
I'm good with it, man. Let's party. You can see the oils kind of floating on top there. This is going to be crazy extracted. You know what? That looks so thin. Did you see the...
Wow. I don't know what to think.
I don't know, man.
We're going to taste it, right?
I just wanted to do extremes today, you know? Let's see
Yeah.
what happens in the extremes. All right.
Oh. I'm getting a little too much coffee in me.
I am too, actually. Yeah, it's going to be 2 Negronis tonight. A little deeper.
Yeah, that's weird.
I'm not hating it. No,
No.
I'm getting more body, and you know this is not a coffee that lends itself to body. So, Mohammed.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah, what do you think?
I'll tell you what. I mean, it's super long, but you know, for it really toned that down a lot, right?
Oh sure, yeah. I kind of did tone down the.
But there is a little bitter thing happening in there that I didn't get on any of the other ones.
Yeah,
of
we
course,
did get to that point on this one. Yeah. Well, I wanted to try, guys, but you know, right in between there, I think you would end up with something more like 20-second pre-infusion than with about like between 20 and 30 in full flow.
Yeah.
Something like that, I think would be mind blowing. So.
Yeah. And we could play with the grind there. We could get. I mean, we did go over the top with finding that up. But
I shouldn't have said ridiculously. I did say that, but Mohammed, the coffee machines like Slayer and La Marzocco, they have pressure profile or some have pressure profile, some have flow control. Good question. Just depends on models. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slayer is typically flow control.
But that's like, I mean, most of the ones that I've been around and used, it's like, okay, here you get this flow, and then you just go there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Like a static, you only get one option of flow and then full pressure or full
I think it's
flow.
adjustable internally what you want for that initial low flow.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was actually at their factory years ago.
That's right.
And they were pulling shots for me. So
I'll bet it was bonkers.
in Seattle, yeah.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
of the SCAs back then, but cool.
And then La Marzocco, a lot of those are pressure profile, and that's more manipulating like the pump pressure. So interesting concept, a lot to play with. We even have a machine on the website called the Creme 1 Profiler. That machine, you can actually pressure profile on it. So yeah, and that's like one of my favorite
And programmable.
things. Programmable on top of that.
Like go all over the place, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, so you can save shots, all those kinds of things.
All right.
Let me see how
real
quick we
quick.
could do this. Yeah. Have you ever seen the paper filter trick? I've got Chiato hoop filters right here. They're kind of like AeroPress filters. Now, most of these are not going to fit in your portafilter, so I'm just going to show you real quick how to make one of these. But what I've seen happen is people will put these on the bottom of the shot, or right on the bottom of the basket rather, and then dose their shot into that. So that gets rid of all the fine particulate and things like that, maybe even catching more oils from not going into the cup. And some people even do it on the top of the puck as well, or just one or the other, your choice. But this is another thing for y'all to experiment with. You can cut it into different shapes and just kind of see what's going to work for your basket. But one of my favorite coffee experiences that I ever had, I was in this cafe in China just earlier this year. I asked someone where to go for coffee, and they said, go to this place called Cafe Agua. I had an unbelievable experience. I'm watching this guy is doing like everything that you just saw us do, including single dosing. He's using like a Ross droplet technique, spraying with a little water. But then he took one of these, put it on the bottom of the basket, dosed his coffee, did his entire puck prep, tamped, then put another one of these on the top, then pulled the shot. And it was just one of the best coffees I've ever had, one of the best coffee experiences that I've ever had. I was with my band, and I'm like forcing them to go to this place, hoping it's going to be good, and everybody was sitting at the coffee bar like, oh man, thanks for bringing us here. So that another little trick for y'all to play with. There's no shortage of fun stuff to do.
How do you think having that on the top and the bottom changed the coffee? I mean, was it thinner? Was it? I mean, what?
No, there was still plenty of crema, plenty of body, plenty of balance. Today, it's interesting. Today, I think the coffees we were using, we've got a really fresh, kind of darker coffee. Not too much balance, a lot of body. And we have a well-aged but super, super, super light single origin. So not a lot of balance there, a lot of acidity. Everything was just right in the middle. A lot of crema. They even made lattes with the exact same coffees too. So,
really?
And I think what's happening is the one on the bottom gets rid of a lot of oils, nasty stuff. The grit, the French pressy kind of grit. The one on the top, I think, helps distribute the water all throughout the puck. In fact, we have a couple of gadgets right here that do the same thing. This is a puck screen. If you put this right on the top of your basket after you tamp, or your coffee bed rather, after you tamp, it can do the same thing. It can really help the water get all throughout your coffee bed and help mitigate channeling. And check this out. This comes with a little
magnet.
Yeah, here, can you do the honors for me?
Sure.
It looks like a tamper, doesn't it?
It's tiny.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You can just take it and get it off of your...
Get it off the coffee. And
yeah,
so
exactly.
You can knock your stuff out. Yeah, that's cool.
So
and it might keeps your machine maybe a little, your screen, your shower screen a little cleaner.
Keeps your shower screen clean. Yeah, there's multiple benefits to it. So, all right. I hope that this helped with some gadgets, things to do puck prep wise, how to utilize some pre-infusion, change your flavors. What do you think?
I think so. There's just so many options. There's so many different ways to get to the same place, and you got to do what works for you. I mean, we went from super simple to 3 different tools or 2 different tools.
2 different tools plus paper filters.
Yeah. So I mean, there's so many things, and I know people get really into the process, and there's a process, right? And, a ritual to doing it, which is really, really cool. Sometimes you want that ritual to be super easy and consistent. Sometimes you want that ritual to be more involved, so you just know everything's just right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I always say it's about consistency. And so regardless of what tools you're using, you can find a way to become more consistent.
Yeah, no matter what you're using, I like to tell people just do it the same way every time. That'll help you dial in even better,
So. Well, listen, guys, thanks so much for watching us. We do take comments after the fact. We're live right now, but you might be watching this not live.
You're right, yeah.
We will respond to comments after the fact. We're here every Friday at 3. John, thanks so much.
Mark, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
I got to work with the legend today.
So, all right. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you back here next Friday at 3.
Cheers, y'all.
Cheers.